Good afternoon. My name is CeCe Hipps. I'm president of the Haywood County Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development. Here this afternoon, on a Friday afternoon, wet to say the least, with Richard Miller in the Wine Cellar, which is located in downtown Waynesville. I want to thank Richard Miller for allowing us the use of this space. Also have some special guests this afternoon. Senator, one time forever, North Carolina legislator, Joe Sam Queen, who has driven up from Raleigh this afternoon to be with us and to share some of the things that's going on in Raleigh. Also have David Francis with the Haywood County government as well. So thank everyone for being here. And so this is actually our very first podcast that we were doing, and so I want to make a toast on behalf of our first podcast and also make a toast to Joe Sam. Thank you, Joe Sam, for being with us.
Great to be here. Well, you want me to just jump in and tell you some of the priorities?
So, yeah, we want you to just kind of, keep this informal and just talk to us a little bit what's going on in Raleigh and maybe focus on some of our legislative items, particularly in the area of healthcare, broadband, workforce housing.
Those are very important items. First of all, I'll say this is the year to expand Medicaid and close the coverage gap for North Carolina. It'll mean $20 million for my district, Haywood, Jackson, and Swain. It'll mean $4 billion next year in the state of North Carolina of our federal taxes coming back to our state. We're paying them, and we'll get them back, and that'll make a world of difference. It's way over 40,000 new jobs in healthcare will be created, and we will serve in Haywood, Jackson, and Swain, those three counties, which is my house district. There's over 15,000 low-wage workers that would have health care. First time ever. The Sheriff, Greg Christopher, says it's the only money for opioid care. Ohio expanded Medicaid last year. Their opioid deaths were cut in half in 1 year. Health care matters. The resources matter for this crisis. That's one that Haywood County is very sensitive to. So that's one of the big priorities. The governor rolled out his budget this week, so it looked good to me. It was astounding how much he got done with the dollars we have.
We received a copy of that yesterday.
And his number one priority is education. Schools are one of the top employers in Haywood County. Our workforce development, really all the way through in education, right up to the community college and going to our universities, whether it's UNCA or Western Carolina here. We got lots of opportunities that begin at the schoolhouse door. So education is key.
Right, let me ask a question about that. So we had a reception with the schools, North Carolina State School Superintendent, Mark Johnson, and he mentioned to us that he was proposing a 5% increase for teachers. Do you think there's a chance that we'll see that this year?
The governor has 9% in his budget.
Okay.
He, which is average 4.5 a year for 2 years straight.
Will that get us to where
it will get us to the best in the Southeast in 4 years. This is the first session. Took two more, another session, and we'll be, if we can keep this going, we'll be the best in the Southeast once again. We're 37th in the nation now, and that's not good enough. It's not good enough to lead. It's not good enough to keep and retain the teachers we need and attract them. But the governor has a strong commitment to getting back to leadership for North Carolina in education at every level.
And that brings me to one more point on education. I used to be an educator for
Yes.
10 years, and actually David was an educator
That's right.
for 10 years as well.
No, I was there too.
Two. Oh,
Yeah.
I got you. It felt like 10.
Yeah, it felt like 10.
And we both work with special needs children. So education is very important to us. But also, now it's even more important for preschool education.
That's right.
Because kids learn so much quicker when they're younger. Where when I went to school, I wasn't expected to know how to read at the age of 6. Now when you go into kindergarten, you need to be well on your way to reading. So
That's right.
is there any discussion around increasing money or funds for preschool education?
It's a big priority of the governor. It's a big priority of our Health and Human Health Secretary, Mrs. Cohen, Secretary Cohen, to get early childhood really from preconception to birth right on to more at 4. What we know now is the sooner you help a child that's at risk,
Right.
the more likely you're going to bring that child into a successful path. So they're closing the gap, getting rid of the waiting lists for early childhood in this budget, this year's governor's budget. We hope we can sustain it through the Senate and the House. But there's a big commitment to early childhood, and not just more at 4 in kindergarten, but getting visiting nurses to households and young families that are at risk, that need it, helping our social services and our health departments serve these young children with the risk and the traumas some of them get faced with, so that nutrition's
very
important.
Young age.
Yeah, very important.
Seems to be lacking.
And one of the other things that that's so important for our education system is a community college. I mean, not only education but also an economic development tool for us as well. And what we're working in, we found out how important Haywood Community College is. And so, is there more funding going to be coming to the community colleges this year? They're committing to
Raise salaries and cover enrollment growth. But more than that, it's focused. There's a free community college on focused professional development. So where there's a need for jobs, those programs will be free at the community college. So it's going to be need driven, but where there's a need for workers, the programs will be free at the community college in the governor's budget. That'll be a big help. The governor has a $3.8 billion grant. It's a bond program to put before the citizens. $2 billion will be for public schools because there's a big need for improving public schools all over the state. Everybody gets a fair share, and $500 million will go to the community colleges for they need some expansion. They need some help. The local governments are just strapped and can't meet the demand for these high-skill, high-tech investments at the community college for the workforce we need.
Yeah, and that's a good segue, because that goes into the other area that we're struggling here is providing workers for specific areas. For example, manufacturing, the hospital. All of those don't necessarily require a 4-year college degree, but they do require specialized training. So the community college is becoming even more important in that particular area as well.
And the partnerships between the community college and the university system is getting tighter, and we're understanding that you can go 2 years to the community college, and if you want to, you can seamlessly go 2 years to our university system. Western, UNCA, right here on our wings, give a great opportunity to keep our kids here, train them for the jobs we need, and let's prosper together.
Yeah, exactly.
Invest in the future and in our people. That's the governor's budget. That's what I'm fighting for, and we'll see. We're just beginning this fray down there.
So is it fast paced or slow paced?
It's picking up every day. I am chairman of another group. I'm the chairman of a work group, and we've made it bipartisan, and we hope to make it bicameral to advance broadband across the state. So we're working hard on every idea we can, little, small, big ideas, little ideas, but we have got to crack the nut on broadband, because rural North Carolina, the governor's budget focuses on getting rural North Carolina back on track, because we've had a good recovery from the Great Recession, but it's not been even. It's all been in the urban cores. It's not been in rural North Carolina. We have not experienced the prosperity that the rest of the state has. Well, he is trying to make he's trying to correct that in this
Right.
budget. And healthcare is a big part, education's a big part, broadband, workforce housing.
Workforce housing, absolutely.
Because all of that's important. So he's got $20 million in workforce housing, another, I think it's $5 million or so in North Carolina Housing Finance Agency loan programs, assistance programs to help communities get low-income housing.
I remember when I first met you, Joe Sam, and I think it was like around October of 2004, and you were very passionate then about workforce housing and equity building homes.
Still am, because the ticket to enter the middle class is a good education. That's our number one priority in this budget, and owning a home that builds value. So you'll have an asset and enter the middle class. Entering the middle class means you own something.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I love that. I'll never forget that for you saying that. So I always use that term myself is equity building homes for individuals to get them to that next level.
Get them to that next level.
Be the next
That's
level.
right.
So I think you've just about covered everything today. Anything else you would like to add here at the last minute?
Well, we're working on lots of grant programs for economic development, and we're trying to build our toolkit to help rural regions of our state recover and be part of the prosperity that the rest of the state's enjoying. And to do that, we're going to have to fix the tier system, which you know,
Right.
because we're not distributing that money equitably to the rural areas. And we want to reward success. We want to reward those communities that are working hard, and hopefully we'll make some progress in that direction as well.
Very good.
And for those who don't know, Haywood County, there's 3 tiers. And Haywood County is tier 3, which is the highest ranked tier. So we lose out on a lot of grant funding. And so this has been a priority that we've talked as a chamber and EDC council as well. And Joe Sam met with us back last year concerning the tier system. And that's one of the focuses that from the chamber
We
and
would
EDC.
love to be able to check that box this year off of our agenda.
Rural-urban divide, let's close it. Let's get
close it.
broadband. Let's expand Medicaid, close the coverage gap, and education is always first at the
Very
state
good.
legislature.
Very good. Well, we will see you in Raleigh in April. We have a much bigger delegation this year, a total of 9 chambers from western North Carolina down to Hendersonville, Brevard, up to Boone and Blowing Rock. Will be doing their annual trek down to Raleigh to meet with you and other legislators. And also we're going to have some nice panel speakers as well. So we look forward to seeing you
You bet.
in April, if not before. So, David, do you have anything in closing?
No, I just want to thank Joe Sam for being at our inaugural podcast today.
Very
And the Strawberries in Champaign, Joe Sam has a gathering in the May.
Yep, it's always.
And everyone's invited.
Everyone's invited. It's the Friday Memorial Day weekend, and we've done it 40-some years.
That's
So
right, yeah. So we decided to kick it off in March this year.
Kick it off in March.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Joe Sam, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.